Hey everyone, it's Lynn Fairchild-Hawks here. I'm going to do a quick presentation on standards for effective discussion in the e-studies program. So, connection, that's what we're all about. We want to see you connecting with your students. We want students connecting with one another, finding their gifted peers who want to grapple with the same ideas, and of course, we want them to connect to the big concepts of your discipline. So, what are the standards? What do we expect students to do? What do we expect you to do as a discussion facilitator? What are the standards and criteria that we'll all be observing? So first of all, know that at the end of the term in August, when you are writing student performance evaluations, not only will you write a narrative, but you will also be rating students on various e-studies skills. These are global online learning skills. In particular, related to discussions, you'll see two sections on that part of the student performance evaluation that are important to discussion, and that's inquiry and analysis. You will be rating student performance from an unsatisfactory to an exemplary scale, 1 through 4. And so it's important that after this presentation, you take a minute, go look at the link for the e-studies skills and make sure you're familiar with them. If any questions come up, don't hesitate to ask your academic coordinator so that you can make sure that your course and your instruction is vetting students on these various skills and behaviors throughout the term. Now, we've created two discussion rubrics for you. One is for asynchronous discussion and one is for live session discussion. So after this presentation, we encourage you to look at these two rubrics. The first one is for the Canvas discussion tool. These are known as discussion forums in other LMSs. And in particular, our rubric is asking you to think about all the different critical thinking skills and communication skills you can foster in an asynchronous discussion. We are going to populate these in Canvas, and you are going to be able to pull these right down into rubrics that you scaffold throughout the term. You may decide, hey, I only want to focus on one of these criteria during week 1, and then maybe next week I'm going to add another criterion to the list. So you have that option to scaffold throughout the term. You don't have to hit students with the full rubric during week 1. And obviously, just as I mentioned on the prior slide, you've got a rubric for the live sessions. Same thing, you can pull those already created criteria from Canvas. They're called outcomes, and we're populating Canvas so that you can pull those directly and don't have to recreate them yourselves. So again, after this presentation, take a look at these two rubrics. So now you know that as an instructor, you'll probably be observed by e-studies staff during the summer. So what do we look for in discussion facilitation? When we observe a discussion, we want to look at student behaviors first. Are the students actually doing critical thinking? Are they asserting claims? Are they defending them with evidence from a text or some other resource? Do they make connections? Are they grappling with big conceptual ideas and reaching essential understandings? Are they posing questions? Are they answering each other's questions? And have they come to this discussion, whether it's live or asynchronous, with some kind of preparation? Are they bringing evidence? Have they done some reading? Have they watched a video? And what are you doing? Are you asking questions that are big, open-ended questions that can go for miles? Now, in the e-studies program, you're required to have 3 asynchronous discussions that are Socratic and 1 live session is Socratic. Our preference is that you have as many of these as possible during the term, but only 4 total are required, 3 asynchronous and 1 synchronous. So when we do observe the Socratic ones, we're going to be looking for that type of a Socratic question. Whatever type of discussion you're doing, we want to make sure you are asking clarifying follow-up questions and really digging into what the kids say. We also want to make sure that the kids are giving evidence. So are you as the instructor following up with them and asking them to quote something from a video, bring up an image, give a line of text from a reading they all shared? Obviously, we have another set of standards for discussions, and that's general behavior of respect and courtesy. There's the Duke Community Standard, and e-studies in particular has the Digital Citizenship Agreement. Students sign this at the point of application. You'll be able to dig into this in more detail when you're looking at the orientation materials that students will encounter in your course and that we have already built. Basically, it boils down to these types of things: respect, the appropriate tone, and making sure everyone can be heard. Also, timeliness is a sign of courtesy. You don't want to come late to the party, and you don't want to disappear either without saying that you're leaving. Obviously, being present and not multitasking is another key thing, and being academically honest. And that's it for our presentation. I basically wanted to give you the overview of all the standards. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact an academic coordinator and see what kind of information you need in order to scaffold these types of skills throughout your course.